Do you have a ID on you or driver's license?
Have I committed a crime?
I can ask you at any time to identify yourself.
Am I under suspicion of committing a crime?
No.
Yeah, Texas is not a stop and identify state.
Do you have a driver's license or identification on you?
Am I required to answer the question?
Yes, you are required to answer the question.
Well, I don't think he needs to identify if he hasn't committed a crime.
It doesn't matter. If I ask him to identify himself, he needs to identify himself. Okay,
Well,
so either way,
later.
it's either do it now or do it later. However you want to do it. Either you go see a judge now. You either go see a judge now or you go see a judge later. So it's however you want to do it.
Yeah.
Hello, and welcome back to Legal Dissent, where we evaluate your constitutional rights before they're taken away. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you enjoy our content, please do consider subscribing and interacting with us in the comments. It really does help the channel out a lot. Today, we evaluate a video submitted by a subscriber through Facebook. If you have videos you'd like us to evaluate, please submit them through Facebook, Twitter, or even our email. All of our contact information is located in the description, along with links to the original channel, videos, case law, statutes, and the contact information of the law enforcement agency involved. This video comes from Alamo Eye News. Make sure to visit their channel and let them know that Legal Dissent sent you. Alamo Eye News was stopped by Deputy Michael Kelley of the Dewitt County Sheriff's Department in 2018 for speeding.
How we doing, sir? Deputy Kelley, Dewitt County Sheriff's Office. Reason for your stop is your speed. You know about how fast you were traveling?
Do I know how fast I was traveling?
Yeah.
Do I need to answer that question?
I would like for you to.
Yeah, well, I would like not to make any statements.
Okay. Let me have your driver's license and insurance card.
Insurance is here.
Do you have a ID on you or driver's license?
Have I committed a crime?
I can ask you at any time to identify yourself.
Am I under suspicion of committing a crime?
No.
Yeah, Texas is not a stop and identify state.
Do you have a driver's license or identification on you?
Am I required to answer the question?
Yes, you are required to answer the question.
No, you are not required to answer the question. These guys are absolutely fantastic. When an officer stops you and asks you if you know how fast you are going, if you know why you are being stopped, or any other questions in this vein, they are seeking an admission of guilt from you. The best answer is always, I don't answer questions. If you answer admitting guilt to speeding, you have just given away any type of defense you might have had in court against that ticket. Do not say that you don't know or that you're unsure, because that destroys your ability to testify positively in your favor later on. The passenger. I just love this guy's composure and charisma. He's flashing a smile at the officer while giving him the perfect answers. When it comes to the question of if a passenger is required to identify or not during a traffic stop, most courts have established the floor of your rights with the United States Supreme Court's holding in United States v. Hibble. It is well established that an officer may ask a suspect to identify himself in the course of a Terry stop. It has been an open question whether the suspect can be arrested and prosecuted for refusal to answer. Per their ruling in Hibble, the Supreme Court found that the state can require ID if the stop was justified at its inception and reasonably related in scope to the circumstances which justified the initial stop. Basically, the officer must have reasonable articulable suspicion that you have committed a crime, are committing a crime, or about to commit a crime to get your ID. Now remember, that is the floor for your Fourth Amendment protection that is recognized by the Supreme Court. States are allowed to create additional safeguards to ensure further personal liberties. The state of Texas has done this by enacting Texas Code Section 38.02. It criminalizes the failure to give ID only when an officer has lawfully arrested the individual. Therefore, the passenger does not have to provide identification to the officer unless the officer is lawfully arresting him for something, which in this case is obviously not happening. Further, even under Hibble and without this Texas statute, the passenger would also not be required to provide identification because the officer has no reasonable articulable suspicion that the passenger has committed a crime. Now, with us being informed of the law, we can now watch this encounter with an educated eye.
Well, I don't think he needs to identify if he hasn't committed a crime.
doesn't matter. If I ask him to identify himself, he needs to identify himself.
Are you familiar with Penal Code 3802?
Yeah,
What does it say?
very well.
What does it say?
Do you have an ID on your
You
non?
need to lawfully arrest him.
No, I don't have to lawfully arrest him. I don't have to. He's being detained on a traffic violation.
Yeah, he's not driving.
It doesn't matter. He's being detained at a traffic stop. I have the right to identify anybody in the vehicle.
Unless you suspect him of a crime. That's 3802.
That's what I'm gonna do, is see if he has any warrants or anything for his arrest.
Well, you suspect him of having any warrants?
Could be, yeah.
Well, you have to articulate your reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime.
You're breaking the law twice.
Well, you're talking to me then.
Yeah. Okay. He's a passenger in a vehicle that the law's being broke in. Okay. You were speeding, number one. Number two, you're
allegedly speeding.
This guy is a legend. Well done. He knows the law. He knows what he's talking about, and he is well spoken. The officer, on the other hand, doesn't know the law, is not well spoken, is lying through his teeth, and is painfully ignorant of what he swore to protect.
allegedly speeding.
Allegedly.
80,
That's your
84 and a 70 is not
your
allegedly.
allegation. I haven't been convicted of that.
Your registration is out on your vehicle, so I could arrest you if I wanted to.
But I don't think that's an arrestable offense.
Yes, it is. The only two non-arrestable offenses: speeding and open container.
This is actually accurate. The United States Supreme Court held in Atwater versus City of Lago Vista that a woman who was charged and arrested for seatbelt violations, driving without a license, and failing to provide proof of insurance, that the arrest is constitutional as long as the officer has probable cause that the crimes had been committed. However, in this case, it seems that the registration is actually up to date. The officer would need to verify that the registration is actually expired and not just go off of the sticker on the plate. I know my sticker has come off before in a car wash, and this could be a regular occurrence that officers see on a fairly regular basis. Not having the sticker on the plate gives an officer reasonable suspicion to conduct a Terry stop and investigate, but it does not give him probable cause to make an arrest.
You have a speeding violation, and you don't have an open container, but you do have expired registration. Okay. I can have this vehicle towed, and you can be arrested.
To be towed, I have to be convicted of the crime.
You are convicted. You're driving a vehicle.
I haven't been to court.
You're being okay.
Yeah.
Do you have an ID on you or not?
Am I required to give it to you?
You are required to give it.
Do you have a supervisor?
I sure do.
Okay, I would like to talk to him.
Okay, I will let you talk to him, and if I have to, I'll have him come out here.
Okay? I'm requesting a supervisor.
Okay, all right, good deal.
When you encounter an officer who is painfully oblivious to the law, requesting a supervisor can be a good move. Hopefully, the supervisor is more knowledgeable, but we all know that definitely is not a guarantee. At this point, the deputy goes back to his car, runs their plates, finds that nothing is wrong with their registration, and then has a conversation with another officer.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
I pulled this guy over 84 and a 70 on 119. I asked him for his driver's license and insurance, and of course are you aware of penal code, yada yada, all this and that. Well, he's got expired registration on the vehicle. Asked the passenger for his identification. He wouldn't give me his identification at all. He's asking for a supervisor to make location.
They're asking for a supervisor to make location on a traffic stop?
Yes.
Where are they from?
San Antonio. I told him, that he's in violation of the law because he was speeding. He said, no, I was allegedly speeding. And I said, well, you also have expired registration. And he said that he hasn't been convicted of that, so there's nothing I can do about it.
Are they
and I have no idea. It's two Hispanic gentlemen.
Two Hispanics?
Yeah, I told him, he could be arrested for the registration, and the vehicle could be towed. And he sat and argued with me and said, no, I can't do that, and that I need to have. He's requesting a supervisor to make location.
Okay. Let me call Chief, tell him what's going on, and then I'll call you back.
Okay.
I find this very interesting to watch because it shows us just how officers will regularly spin the narrative to make it seem like the individual is being overly suspicious and doing something mischievous, when that couldn't be further from the truth. They also focus on the race of the individual stopped, which seems strange in this situation. About 10 minutes goes by before the officer calls the deputy back.
Well, the passenger technically, well, we can request, but he doesn't have to.
Sure.
Okay. If he refuses to sign the ticket, hook him up. Do PC affidavits on him. You know, you can use the speed and the expired registration to make sure you get good pictures.
Okay.
Take him in, tow the vehicle, have the passenger ride with Diaz to the office.
Okay.
And sit at the office until he can get somebody there to pick him up.
Okay.
Because, you know, if they refuse to sign, which is a promise to appear, we got to take them in and get them magistrated right away.
Okay. Now, I thought that if you were asked to identify yourself, you had to.
Only if it's in commission of a crime or an investigation.
Okay.
Because he's just sitting there as a passenger, he doesn't have to.
Okay. All right.
Now, if you go to tow the vehicle and the guy says, well, we're related to him, well, I can't because he won't identify himself, so I don't know who he is and if he's got a valid eligible driver's license.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay. Good deal.
Well done to the officer on the phone for knowing the law and informing his coworker that the passenger does not have to provide identification and correcting the deputy's lack of knowledge. Although it is sad that the deputy has been operating under the belief that anyone he asks for identification is required to give it to him. The deputy waits about 10 more minutes for his backup to arrive.
All right, sir. I need you to sign here across the top. It's not a admission of guilt, just stating you'll contact the court on or before the 22nd of February.
All right. Here's a quick question. Mm-hmm. What happens if I don't sign it?
Well, you're refusing to sign, you'll go to jail.
I go to jail?
Yeah.
So, okay, so what I'm just trying to get across, my signature is not going to be voluntary. It's going to be on the...
But it's just a promise that you're going to contact the court. That's what your signature is promising.
Right, but my signature is not voluntary. I'm doing it because if not, you're taking me to jail. Okay. That's the only way. Well, that's the only reason I'm signing this.
Okay. You're signing saying that you're going to go to court on or before this date. That's what your signature, regardless if you want to sign it or not. Okay. That's what that signature is for.
Yeah, just for the record, my signature is not voluntary, and I'm signing this because if I don't sign, you take me to jail. Okay. That's what you said.
What you're doing when you sign that is you're promising that you're going to go to court, regardless if you volunteered or not.
Okay. Well, I'm saying my signature is not voluntary. My signature says I'm going to go to court.
Yes.
But my signature is not voluntary.
That doesn't make any sense. I don't understand what you're saying.
What I'm trying to say is you're making me sign it because if no, I go to jail.
No, I'm asking you to sign it. It's up to you whether you want to sign it or not.
It's under it's under threat, duress, and coercion. I mean, if I don't sign it, I go to jail. That's the only reason.
Well, if you don't go to court, you go to jail.
Yeah. But right now, if I don't sign, I go to jail right now.
Yeah. So basically, all this is saying is you're going to go to court. Okay. If you don't go to court, then you get a warrant and you go to jail.
Sir, you're hearing, but you're not listening, sir. So he's saying that if he doesn't sign it, you're threatening to take him to jail.
No, I'm not. No, what I'm saying, okay, he would go to jail and be magistrated. Okay. Because either way, you're going to get magistrated.
Sure.
Okay, so either way, it's either do it now or do it later, however you want to do it. Either you go see a judge now, you either go see a judge now or you go see a judge later. Okay. So it's however you want to do it. Yeah. Okay. All right, here's your ID. There's your citation.
All right.
This is a courtesy card.
All right.
Stating, with all the judge's information on it.
Yep.
Like I said, you have until the 23rd of at 9 a.m. to contact the judge on the charges that you're being charged on.
All right. That's fine.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Slow it down and have a good day.
The passenger is correct. The deputy was hearing but not listening. The driver did the right thing, in my opinion, by signing the citation. You can fight this in court, which he didn't even have to do because the ticket was dismissed later on. This is a great look into how officers will spin facts to make them fit their narrative. I am extremely impressed with the driver and the passenger in this video. They were well spoken, well informed, and made it very clear that they did know the law substantially better than the deputy. The deputy is no longer in law enforcement as he voluntarily left the department in 2019 and then passed away as a result of a vehicular accident later that year. How do you think the driver and passenger handled the stop? Do you have videos you would like us to evaluate? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you next time right here on Legal Dissent.